Welcome to Coach's Corner, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. I'm your host, Coach Paul Tripoli. To my right, my teammate at Liverpool High School, Bill Pendock, Syracuse great defensive lineman. And below, his teammate for a year, Bill Hurley, the great quarterback at Syracuse Orange. Billy, thanks for coming on, man.
Hey, glad to do it, guys.
Wow, what a beautiful thing. We were just talking a little bit off air. We're going to tell your amazing story. Where you grew up and from Buffalo, New York. This show is brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. Here on Coach's Corner, we try to inspire and educate the mind to think, the heart to feel, and the body to act. All right, Billy, let's do all things. I want to start from the beginning. You're from Tonawanda, went to St. Joseph's High School. Talk about your mom and dad and any brothers, sisters that you have.
Well, I grew up in Depew, New York.
Depew.
It's exit 49 on the thruway.
90.
Yeah. And St. Joe's was about 20 miles away, but my dad went to school there and he suggested that I should go there. Well, he more than suggested. He said, "You're going there." And it was an all boys high school. You had to wear a tie every day. And while I didn't like it the first couple weeks, it turned out to be the best decision ever. We were good in all sports. The only thing I didn't like about it is if you went to the public school, 65 and above was passing. At St. Joe's, 75 and above was passing. And I had to go to summer school a couple years because you couldn't fail you couldn't even fail a class, let alone a grade, or they just kicked you out.
Wow, holy cow! But you, as a kid from that area, I understand you played hockey also as a kid and baseball.
A lot of hockey, a lot of baseball, which I played on two different hockey teams, my high school and my select team, and I played high school baseball, American Legion baseball, AAA BA baseball, and AAA Muni baseball. So there were a couple years, 3 or 4 years, where I had a game every single day in the summertime.
Talk about your teammates from high school or a coach that had a big influence on you, and then we'll talk about how you got recruited to go to Syracuse.
My coach was a guy named Tucker Reddington, who had been a long time. He was there 10 years before I got there. And St. Joe's was always talked about in the sports page. I didn't realize I was going there until my dad said, "You're going there," which was about June of after my 8th grade year. But he went to school there, and it was the best decision ever. Lifetime friends, great athletics, just a good decision.
So how'd you get to Syracuse? Were you recruited heavily, or talk about that? Talk about that process. Frank Maloney, right? Coach Maloney.
Yeah. And Tom Coughlin was my my position coach in college. But we ran the wishbone in high school, which no one did in our area. So I got a lot of feelers from the wishbone schools. Mm-hmm. But everybody advised me that staying close to home was the best idea. So Syracuse won out, and I was damn glad I did it.
Was Coach Saban there when you were there, Bill?
He came my last year.
What position did he coach?
He coached the defensive ends.
Defensive ends, wow! Because he ended up being the DB coach, and he coached DBs at Alabama. He ran the meetings, so he didn't have his DB coach run the meetings. He ran them.
Nick is a maniac when it comes to stuff like that.
Now, Billy, he was there. Coach Saban was there your last year. He was at Syracuse 1 year.
I don't know if he stayed a year. He ended up going, I want to say, back to Kent State or somewhere a year or two later. Or I don't really remember. When I was gone, I didn't really pay attention to what was going on for a couple of years.
When I came in, he wasn't on the staff, and I was the year after you, I think. So
you know what? I take that back. He left after my junior year. Now I remember. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he left, and it was funny because when I got recruited, he was a GA at Kent State a few years, before that.
Yeah, he probably went to Michigan State. I think is that he was
I
from
think you're right.
Syracuse.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think his wife was.
I don't want to interrupt you, but talking about his recruiting and stuff, I was recruited by Tom Coughlin too, and he was a crazy son of a bitch. Now, what was your experience with him recruiting you? Was he as crazy as he was as a coach, as a recruiter?
No, as a recruiter, he was okay. As a coach, he was a maniac. And I'll give you a perfect example. You'd run a play, fake a guy out, break a tackle, get a first down, and during films he'd go, "No, this is a minus." And I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Your first step was not at 3 o'clock; it was at 4 o'clock. That's a minus."
That's why they called. Hey, that's why his nickname was Technical Tommy.
Was it Technical Tommy?
Yeah,
he was. I'm so glad he told me I was too slow to play at Syracuse, man. I wouldn't have handled him well at all. God.
On the other side of the coin, he made me a good player. So putting up with some of the stuff, as I got a little older, it kind of rolled off me a little better than the first couple years.
Yeah.
He's old school, man. They're all like that, I mean, come on. Coach Bryant was like that. O'Leary was like that. They came from a military background, and that's how they ran practices. They made practices harder than the games, and that's what's wrong with football now. The coaches do not make practices hard anymore.
Hey, Joe Morris one day, Tom was getting on him, and Joe rushed for like 165 yards, but on this one play, which we ran a lot, he's supposed to take a lateral lead step, and he kept taking a drop step, and Tom kept giving him minuses. And Joe went after him. And I jumped in between them, and I told Tom, I said, "Just walk away for a few minutes. Let me calm him down."
Joe.
That's hilarious. It had to be a lot to push Joe Morris because he I don't know. I didn't know him like you guys, man. He was your teammate, man. What a great player. Nothing but good things I heard from Joe Morris.
Yeah. Joe, I mean, you could just see him sitting there. He was seething. And finally, it just erupted. And I had a talk with him afterward. I said, "You hear what he says to me, right?" I said, "Just let it go in one ear and out the other. Pay attention to what he's saying, and then let it go."
Right.
Joe didn't have a lot of sense of humor, Billy. You know that.
No, he didn't.
Joe was wound up tighter than a drum, man. He was
so serious. Was he serious?
Yeah.
Walter Lewis was like that. Our quarterback at Alabama, he was like that, man. He was always serious.
I'm telling you, if you didn't have a sense of humor and some thick skin, Tom's a great coach, but he could he could tick you off. Let's put it that way. Yeah. And I'm glad I came to terms with it early on.
Jesus. All right, some other great teammates of yours. Art Monk. We'll take Art Monk, number 45 first. Tell us about Art Monk, a story.
Art, first of all, never said boo. I remember we were in a meeting, me and him and Wolfley with Coach Maloney, and Coach Maloney was asking us what we need to do as a team, and this was before the season. And Art didn't say a word. Now, I'm in there every day because I had to go to quarterback meetings, so it was no big deal for me. But those two sat there and didn't say anything. So you kind of had to poke Art to get him to talk. But he did a lot of talking with his play.
I wanted to ask you, too, about, I mean, and so everybody knows, I think, Paulie, I think Billy was the original number 5 quarterback at SU. There's been a lot of number 5 since, but he was, and if anybody gets a chance to run film and watch, I know it's going back a few years, but I mean, he epitomized toughness in the quarterback position. And I don't want to ask him now, but I got some questions about quarterbacking now compared to back then. But what was it like playing with Craig? Now, when I was a junior and senior at Liverpool, I was coming up to SU a bunch of times during spring ball, and I was in awe. Now, I was a junior, senior in high school, and I'm looking at these guys: Craig Wolfley, Art Monk, Billy Hurley, Joe Morris, Jimmy Collins.
Yeah.
And Craig Wolfley, he passed away just a short while ago.
Right.
What a great guy. And you remember anything about Craig?
I remember everything about Craig. Craig was a stud as a football player. He was kind of a card off the field. We ended up going to Pittsburgh together after Syracuse. So I was teammates with him for quite a while.
Oh, wow. No kidding. No kidding. Wow. Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers. Was Preston Gothard there in Pittsburgh when you were there?
Who?
Preston Gothard?
No.
Tight end?
Nope. We had Benny Cunningham and Randy Grossman.
Wow, your tight end. Yeah, Billy, you got a question for him?
I mean, just to go on about Craig and you guys at Pittsburgh. Now, how many years were you there, and how many years was Craig with you there?
I was only in Pittsburgh my first year, and then right at the beginning of the season, the next year I got sent to New Orleans. But Craig played, I want to say he played about 10 or 11 years. And then I think he went somewhere else for a year too.
Right. And Paulie, like I said, when I went up there, I wouldn't talk to these guys much because I was kind of scared shitless of these guys. I was junior and senior in high school, and I never said much to these guys, but I looked up to them.
Yeah. Oh,
hey, Wolf,
absolutely.
Wolf was as good a guy as he was a football player.
Jesus, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, he
offensive lineman. Was he offensive lineman?
And he could run.
Those offensive linemen were smart, tight-knit group, good guys, man. All of them were smart, good guys. And, I always got along with the offensive linemen. I didn't want to piss those guys off, man.
No, never.
Go ahead, Bill.
Billy, I know your senior year, I think, was all on the road. Was it not? You never got to play in the Dome. That was the year after. And what was it like playing all 10 or 11 games on the road?
Well, we actually played 12 because we ended up going to a bowl game. And at the beginning, I thought, okay, Archibald Stadium held like 30,000 people. And, we played Florida State, Pittsburgh, Penn State, Ohio State, Kansas, Michigan State, Navy, Boston College. I mean, at almost all those places, it was rocking. And especially, we got to you're only allowed to be on TV twice a year. And in my whole career up to that point, we weren't on TV, and we got to be on TV twice that year.
Wow. Was that the year you guys was that the year you guys beat Miami 25-15 in Buffalo?
Yeah. We played Miami, and who else in the Buffalo? Washington State we played in Buffalo.
Your sophomore year, you threw for 329 yards against ninth-ranked Penn State. Was that your coming out biggest game ever? And talk about playing early, because you got in your sophomore year?
I started 5 games my freshman year, but at running back.
Wow.
And then we decided to change. Well, they decided to change the offense to more of an option offense. And he called me in, in like March and said, we're going to see what you can do at quarterback. And the first 5 or 6 games weren't all that hot. I was not a very good thrower. I remember, I think I was 3 for 15 the first game. And I was 0 for 4 the second game. And I'll tell you what, though, about after the 4th game, which I think we were 1-3, Coughlin came to me and said, I got some new steps I want you to take. The quarterbacks at Syracuse over the years, when they under Coughlin, we did a lot of sprint out passes, and they got to a depth of 7 yards. Well, it turns out I was a lot faster than them, and I was getting to the line of scrimmage, and I was chopping my feet and all screwed up. And he moved me back to 11 yards on my dropout. And the first game I played that we did that, I set the school record in passing.
Ooh, just that one adjustment. That just shows you how big the details are. How little details make a big difference.
It's unbelievable. And I remember the game, the first play, he called a pass that I was having trouble with the previous 3 or 4 games. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I hit the guy with a bullet right in the chest, 20 yards downfield, and I was like, "Oh man, this works."
You know, Billy. When I think back to when I used to watch you guys, and I was, like I said, junior, senior in high school, and sitting up at Archibald, and I remember, and I've never seen it since. And I don't know if a quarterback could do it, but did we lose him?
Temporarily, maybe. Hopefully temporarily. He's still on the line now.
Did he hear me?
Yeah, we'll wait. I don't know if he can hear us or not. I don't hear him. I don't see him either.
Oh.
So maybe we'll have to reconnect. Maybe we'll do a part 2. Hey? Maybe we could do that, Billy.
Maybe
We'll just pick up from here.
I had a bunch of questions to ask him.
I know. I did too. I still had another. Yeah, we're only, I don't know when we started, but yeah, we're only about halfway through.
Yeah, 18.
Man,
18
what a story! These are the stories we want to hear. You know what it was like playing with Art Monk and Joe Morris and how he got there, and overcoming certain games and stuff. So maybe he'll try to catch on a little bit, but yeah, I wanted to talk a little more about Jimmy Collins and a bunch of other guys.
Yeah, I wanted to ask him about running that whirly bird option. How he reversed out, pitching the ball to Joe Morris, Joe going on to play at the Giants. That's just crazy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was. That is. We still had some stuff to talk about. Hopefully he'll catch back on, but it's sometimes you have technical difficulties. Sometimes that happens. My schedule is pretty. Oh, here he is back on.
Sorry about that. I have no idea what happened. Somebody called me and it went away.
Oh yeah. If you get a phone call when you're on the phone and you get a phone call on the streaming service, we're gonna have trouble. But yeah, we're glad you're back. We like the stories. I always thought that Jim Collins, great linebacker, All-American linebacker at Syracuse, was the college version of Mark Berryhill, or high school middle linebacker, that if you took up all the gaps or took up all the offensive linemen, he was going to get to make the tackle.
Hey,
you got a Jimmy Collins story, Bill?
He was my roommate my senior year. And I'll tell you what, I felt so sorry for him because he made about 23 tackles a game.
Yeah.
And I hate to think of what the scores would have been if he wasn't on our defense.
Where's
your DBs?
I was very fortunate to play. I played 2 years with Jimmy, and my first 2 years. And I remember our D-line coach saying, "You guys don't worry about tackling anybody. Just occupy 5 guys. He's going to make it all." And that's all he did.
He probably is still the all-time season leader in tackles. He made a gazillion tackles that year.
He did. He was. When you talk about linebackers, I think you can't not mention him as the best. Now, I wanted to ask you, Billy, when you got cut off before, I was when I watched some of the games in my younger days, all I remember is who taught you that whirly bird? They called it the whirly bird option. How was that when you reversed out and you option the opposite way, you go both ways? What other quarterback could frickin' do that?
I don't know where Tom got that, but we ran it one way the year before, and then we went to the whirlybird thing, and I think it tied in with a couple other plays a little better doing it that way.
Yep, yeah, but the thing people got to understand is you were taking hits every time you come down the line with the football. It was like this son of a bitch gets back up every time. That's why, how tough was that after on a Sunday?
Yeah, you got your lumps, that's for sure. And I remember one game we were winning, and it was near, there's 10 minutes left in the game, and they called for one of those options, and I called timeout, and I went over. I said, I'm beat the hell. I can't run the ball anymore. Don't let me run it anymore.
Now, who was backing you up, Billy? Was Warner backing you up, or
yeah, the last year Dave was the backup, right?
Okay, yeah, because Dave was our quarterback when I was there.
Yep. Before that, it was a kid named Ron Farneski.
Okay. All right.
Who did you play in the Blue-Gray All-Star game in Montgomery on Christmas Day, Bill?
Yeah, I did. Me and Wolf and Art all went to that game.
Right.
Oh God, I played in the 85. I played in the 84, right after 84 season. 84.
I'll tell you what, we had a blast. Well, I had a blast anyway.
What year did you play in that game? That was fun.
79.
Wow. You guys beat the South that year, didn't you?
Yeah. We that's the year we played all our games on the road. Then we went to the Independence Bowl in Louisiana and came home for like a day, went to Alabama to play in the Blue-Gray game, then went straight out to San Francisco to play in the East-West game. And
wow.
I got invited to the Hula Bowl in August.
Wow.
And I was all excited. I went in and talked to Coach Maloney. He goes, "You can't go." I said, "What do you mean I can't go? Why?" He goes, "Because you're going to get invited to the East-West Shrine game, and I'm on the staff there, so you're going to the East-West Shrine game."
Billy, which brings me up to Coach Maloney. Now, let's talk a little bit about Coach Frank. And he was my recruiting coach, and I just want to hear your thoughts as far as what you thought of Coach Frank Maloney.
I was kind of stunned my sophomore year a little bit at how much he yelled at me. And, it shook me up a little bit at times. But I got used to it. And I remember one time out, it was a year later, so I came over and he started screaming and yelling at me. I said, "Are you going to just yell at me? You're going to tell me something we're going to do?" And he stopped dead in his tracks and he goes, "You're right."
Wow.
Now, and you guys were both of the Irish descent. Am I wrong?
He yelled at Art and Joe at different occasions, and both of them were like stunned. They were like, they didn't know what to do. I go, "You hear him yell at me every day. How can this?" They said, "Well, you're used to it." I said, "Well, you better get used to it too."
Right. Now, Billy, I go up to the Dome here and there. I go up, they've had a lot of coaches since, and Mac took over. I got caught in a coaching change. And when you look at the history of Syracuse University now, and I don't know, and I want to ask you this because I ask everybody that played under Coach Maloney, is they almost look like at the Dome they went from Coach Ben to Coach Mac. They missed out on that area in between, and there were some great players that turned that program around. Do you see that, or
well?
is anything
Yeah, And one of the things that people aren't aware of, when I got there, the year before me was the first year of Coach Maloney's recruits. Okay, my freshman year, I want to say maybe 4 seniors started that year. Yeah,
Wow.
Keith Moody started, Zanovich started, Preston started, and Jose St. Victor. I think that was it.
Right.
Wow.
Almost. We had such a young starting lineup, and the story goes that Ben got a little older and wasn't as ardent of a recruiter as he had always been, and it showed.
Right.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I got through a transition too, Coach Bryant to Ray Perkins, and I was just talking on the phone last night with a friend, my girlfriend Sharon, that that funeral was like a presidential funeral.
I bet
when Coach Bryant died, and I've never seen anything like it, and never will again. But the transition is hard. It's always hard to get a transition. You were a 4th round draft pick of the Steelers. Talk about Chuck Knoll. Did he switch you over to safety?
Yeah.
What happened?
Wow. They called me during the draft and they said, if we draft you, we're going to move you to safety. Do you have any problems with that? And I said, no. And when they drafted me, they had just won their 4th Super Bowl.
Ooh,
10 of their defensive players were in the Pro Bowl that year.
Oh, my gosh.
So I'm thinking to myself, how the hell am I going to make this team?
Right.
I'm changing positions. They just won their 4th Super Bowl. They got 10 guys in the Pro Bowl. What the hell?
Yeah.
But I learned a lot from being around Wagner and Ham and Lambert and those guys, and watched them and how they prepared and how they practiced and things like that.
What was that defense like, man? What was that Steeler? Chuck Knoll, man, 4 Super Bowl winner. Was Terry Bradshaw still there, or did he?
Yep.
He was still there.
Bradshaw, Franco, Swan, Starworth, Rocky, Webster. I mean,
Rocky Blyer.
The whole. We had 11 of those guys end up in the Hall of Fame. 11.
Oh my gosh! What was Rocky Blyer like, Bill?
Rocky was a quick-witted, sharp-witted dude. He was fun to be around, and he was, when it came time to work, I'll tell you the best lesson I learned, when those guys went to practice, and you could say it was kind of a character of the whole team, they went to practice.
Wow.
And you finally figured out why they were that good.
Wow.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You guys had
Go ahead,
the steel curtain. You had the steel curtain there. L.C. Greenwood, Mean Joe Green. Those guys were all there.
Dwight White. Yep. Banaszak played. Gary Dunn played. They had a ton of. If some of those players played on other teams, some of those guys would be in the Hall of Fame. But I think they got tired of putting Steelers in the Hall of Fame from that era.
Wow. What a squad.
Donnie Shell's in the Hall of Fame. Mel Blunt's in the Hall of Fame. Ham, Lambert, Green. I
got a quick Bill Hurley story, kind of semi about Bill Hurley. He's gonna get so 2 years ago, I'm at the homecoming. We're at the tailgate at the homecoming down in the parking lot. I'm standing there with a good buddy of mine who I play golf with. His name happens to be Brian Hurley, right? So we're hanging out, having a drink or two, and a couple guys come around, and a couple of younger players come around, and he's got a jersey. He's got something on his shirt that says Hurley, and they're all hanging around. A couple of guys are talking. There's mumbling going on. Finally, one of the guys comes over and asks me, "Jesus Christ, is that Bill Hurley?" And I go, "Yeah, you believe it? Yeah, that's him." And he goes, "Holy shit, he's that short?" This guy I play golf with all the time. We laugh our asses off about that. I called him up on the phone and told him I was talking to you. I go, I'm going to bring up that Hurley story.
Hey, when I got to Pittsburgh, they made me go to this quarterback school for a week, and Bradshaw at 6'3" was the next shortest guy. Stout was 6'5" and Malone was 6'4". So the four of us are in this meeting, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I mean, the plane would have to crash, and I'd have to live for me to play. But it was neat being around some of those older guys.
It's not easy, man. It doesn't matter where you are. Back then, it was 28 teams, 45-man rosters, 1,200 guys in the league. Now there's 32 teams, 70-man rosters, and there's 2,400 guys in the league.
Wow,
so it's been watered down. Yeah, it's been watered down a little bit since the good old days. Jerry Ferry says he really misses you, but he doesn't miss you spitting tobacco juice in the huddle. All over.
I used to have fun with those guys they'd come out, in all their white uniforms, lily white, and yeah.
I know how those offensive linemen are. Yeah, they were always, proper. At least at Bama, the offensive line guys were like, really smart and proper, and didn't do much damage like the defense guys do.
No, I tend to agree with you.
Oh my gosh!
One quick question, one serious, Billy. I don't know if you watch football now, if you follow it anymore, or what's going on. But what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on what's happening with the NIL stuff in college and what they're doing? What these kids are doing now? How much money they're getting?
I'll tell you, the first thing that hits my mind is I wish I was getting recruited now.
I'm there with you.
I would have transferred. I would have. No, I don't. I would have transferred out of Alabama after the first 2 years and not seeing the field. I would have transferred.
Hey, I remember coming out of a game one time, and there's a couple hundred people outside the locker room, and I was walking to get to my parents, and a guy stopped me and he shook my hand and he said, "Nice game," and that was about it. And as I pulled my hand away, there was a $10 bill in it, and I was like, "Holy cow!"
It was like $100. It's like
no kidding. I'm set tonight. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I gotta tell you, Al Romano, Pittsburgh All-American on the national championship team in 1976, said that Bill Hurley was giving us all sorts of trouble that game. They almost ruined our national championship season. Billy, talk about the Pitt game. You guys almost pulled that one out.
Well, first of all, I think Pitt overlooked us. They had a great team. Dorset ran wild that game. He gained about 230 yards. But we got down. We were down 13-9, and there was about 2 minutes to go, and we drove the ball down to the 9-yard line, and we called. We had our three back, our heavy offense in, and I handed the ball off to Jim Sessler, and I carried out my fake, and I looked back, and I thought for sure it was a first down. And they marked it, and they brought the sticks out, and it was about 6 inches short. We ran the same play, and I was convinced it was even better. And in fact, I went over started going to the sideline to get the next play, and they brought the sticks out again, and it was like a quarter of an inch short. And they stopped us because of that on the 9-yard line. We would have had to score a touchdown to win, but it would have ruined their season.
Oh gosh, yeah, I see. Yeah, I understand those kind of calls. Yep.
And then I found out that the same referees referee Penn State, Pittsburgh, and one other school in this little triangle, and they always have those referees.
So let me tell you, we went up to. Let me tell you a story. We might have had the same referees. We went up to Penn State in 1983. And we were getting beat 27-7. We come back and we score a touchdown, another touchdown. It's 27-21. Van Tiffen never missed an extra point in the history of Alabama kicking. He was on the show recently. Preston Gothard, my first roommate at Alabama, both of us walk-ons, caught a touchdown pass in the end zone, clearly in the end zone. We would have won 28-27. We were both number 2 and number 3 in the country. And then the referee said, no catch, out of bounds.
Do you remember the picture in the paper the next day?
Yeah.
They had the end zone, and they drew that little indentation there where the guy was.
Oh, you remember that, Bill?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I can't believe you remember. I can't believe you knew that. Holy cow.
I was watching.
Yeah. I mean, so you understood then.
Yeah, right.
I wish I knew you back then. Billy said, "Hey, you could call him for help with Tripp's pain for crying out loud."
I thought it was, kind of iffy that they got the same referees all the time.
Yep.
And know that the coaches pick the referees because they think they're gonna, lean to their side of the field.
Absolutely. Hey, Bill, who do you think would be a good guest to have on the show here?
Not Monk. He doesn't say anything. You have to poke him. You have to poke him to get him to talk.
Rocky Colbert, my Rocky Colbert, my teammate, was the same way. Yeah.
I don't know if you can shut Joe Morris up, but he might be good.
Awesome.
He's a good guy, good person.
Yeah. Bill, you got to sounds like a good Joe story. Or no? You talk to him at all or no?
I talk to Joe, maybe once a year. I talk to Art a little bit more. Used to talk to Wolf kind of a lot. I talk to, some of my other teammates. Moresco I talk to time to time. I see some of the guys down here every once in a while. And when they come down here, I usually get a call and we get together and, play golf or have a beer or something.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Billy, when's that golf tournament? Maybe we can all go play golf together sometime.
I gotta look. COVID put a lot of dents in a lot of tournaments. We used to have tournaments, almost weekly in the late spring and summer and early fall, and it's really gone downhill. Even the NFL alumni tournaments were off for a couple of years because of that.
Right. We had Gene Mills on the other day. You remember Gene? Remember Gene up at the school, right?
Oh yeah, of course. I used to go to the wrestling matches, and he was the first one, and then I'd go home.
Mean Gene, the pinning machine. That's who it was, man.
Wow. I mean, I saw him one time. This guy, I think, beat him at one point. And, a lot of Gene's matches were over in like 36 seconds, a minute 10. But he got this guy in the pinning position about 5 times, but let him up because he wanted to score all those points. And I think he wanted
a little bit of, I saw a little bit of, go ahead.
He wanted to teach this guy a lesson.
Exactly. Yeah.
Billy, what's your thoughts on the quarterbacks nowadays playing in college, pros? Should they have pink jerseys on or what? What's going on? What are you thinking?
I think, what they're doing is probably the right thing. You need the star players to be playing.
Right.
And and think about what they're paying these guys these days. Can you imagine if Josh Allen blew out a knee the first week of the season? I mean, how much? I don't know how much he's making, but he's making a lot.
$15 million a year now. They make $15 million a year.
And that team. I mean, you probably can't have a guy even close to what he can do as your backup. So your whole team goes down the drain.
Right.
When the one guy gets hurt.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Absolutely.
So
hey Billy, man. Go ahead.
the NFL doesn't usually make too many bad decisions when it comes to things of that nature.
No, they just make bad decisions about taking care of the old players' health. That's all.
Okay, I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, they make really bad decisions, Billy, on that. So let's get that straight. Let's call a spade a spade. Yeah, you're right.
I
They
agree
make a lot
with
of
that.
good, smart marketing decisions. They do make really good, smart marketing decisions, and they are, I think, concerned about player safety. But let's not forget they did sweep a lot of this CTE and ALS. All my teammates are dying from. And so they did sweep a lot of that under the rug. Let's get that straight, set the record straight for that. So
hey, do you guys remember what it was like? I got a concussion one day at Syracuse. No, it was in New Orleans. And it was somewhere in the first quarter. And all of a sudden I go, it's the fourth quarter? And the trainer looks at me and goes, oh, you're back. I go, what happened? He told me what happened. And I stood around for a minute or two, and then I started running up and down the sideline. I said, Dino, I think I can go back in. He goes, are you sure? I said, yeah. And I went back in. Now they take your helmet away and make you go to the hospital afterward.
Right. Billy, you got a concussion story? Because I got one.
I've got about 6 of them, but they're nowadays. I mean, there's so much media going on that they're calling down from the box upstairs,
right?
And everything is dictated through media now.
So you're right. They wouldn't have done anything if those brothers didn't come out with that book, League of Denial. I don't think they would have come out with the movie Concussion or anything if it wasn't for those 2 sports writers who I'm assuming probably got blackballed. Hey,
and think about this: how many players got concussed and didn't even know they got concussed?
Right.
All of a sudden you're like, you're shaking your head and you finally come around and you go, I'm good to go.
Yeah. That happened to me. That happened to me one time in Canada. I was in the huddle after a play. I just got concussed. I didn't know it. I got to the huddle and I looked to the sidelines for the basic signal. I've seen it 1,000 times, right? I couldn't even call the basic signal in the huddle. And they all started pointing, hey, you got to come get Tripp out of the huddle. He can't even call.
I went to the wrong huddle one time.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
And Craig Wolfley grabbed me. He goes, I go, what are you doing? He goes, you're in the wrong huddle. Okay.
Oh, man. We laugh about it now, but man.
The funny thing was, I mean, it's not funny, but back then, and I mean, in our case, if the way coaching was back then, the way the game was played, if you didn't continue to play, if you didn't push yourself through that, you didn't get back on the field.
Right.
It was all about toughness and being a man.
You definitely had that in the back of your mind that
always.
You didn't want to miss a rep because somebody might do something good and they go, okay, you're in.
Right.
No, they were the injured players at Bama were not looked on very highly at all. As a matter of fact, Coach Bryant had different colored jerseys for like first team offense had this color, first team defense had that color. But if you were injured, and Coach Bryant called somebody who was a quitter and a loser a turd. That's what his term was, a turd. And guess what colored jerseys the injured players got?
Yeah, brown.
Yeah. So you did not. You did not want to be injured, so you sucked up everything that you could.
I think that was part of the DNA of playing football back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy, what a joy it was to have you on the show, man. We could go on for hours.
Hey, guys, I appreciate it. It's always fun to talk about that.
Yeah, it is.
Great to see you, man. I got Billy, I'm going to apologize for Paulie. He is an Alabama guy, so don't take that Alabama, that shit he talks Alabama to heart.
Hey, I got Syracuse all over the screen, orange everywhere. For crying out loud.
Well, I
don't forget. Hey, I don't forget where I grew up, and remember where I wanted to go play football, Billy.
Yeah.
Remember where I wanted to go play. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, guys.
All right, man. Thanks, Bill.
So, all right. Have a good one.
Guys. Out, so
Thanks
long.
again, man.
See you, Bill. Wow, 2 Bills. What a great story. 2 great Syracuse Orange Bills. Hope you enjoyed the show. Of course, brought to you by Sandy Sansing Chevrolet. Stay tuned for these great messages from our sponsor. Without this, it wouldn't be possible. Have a great sports weekend, everybody. Those guys are pumping me up. So long.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.
That's you trying to fix the plumbing yourself to save a few bucks. Doing things yourself doesn't always end well. The same goes for insurance. That's why Auto Owners works with local independent agents who tailor coverage to meet your needs and offer discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance. Because sometimes you need a professional to get the job done right. That's simple human sense.
Are you riding around in a filthy vehicle? Dirty car no more. Visit Ronnie's Car Wash today to get it shining in no time. They have 3 convenient locations with another coming soon. The unlimited monthly wash packages start as low as $14.95 per month with free vacuums, multi-purpose spray, and towels. Visit them in Gulf Breeze, Navarre, Fort Walton, and soon Crestview. Don't wait, wash today. Be sure to see Ronnie's Car Wash on Facebook to see the latest specials and discounts. You'll be riding and shining in no time.
75 years of service and high tech today. It's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348. High tech is a term often applied to advanced services and products in today's marketplace. And today, glass is much more than a simple pane of brittle, see-through stuff we hit baseballs through when we were kids. Glass is now a product with unique flexibility in both performance and application. And Pensacola Glass Company is growing right along. That's Pensacola Glass Company at 433-8348.
When it comes to buying your next car, truck, or SUV, you need a team that puts you first. Here at the Sandy Sansing dealerships, we're proud to serve Pensacola and the Gulf Coast with the best selection, trusted service, and deals that work for your family. Just like great coaches build great teams, Sandy Sansing builds lasting relationships with every customer who walks through our doors. Because when it comes to finding your next vehicle, there's only one name to remember. Sandy Sansing can.